Today marks an ascent into the celestial realm, exploring the cosmic class, one of the most powerful, enigmatic, and visually awe-inspiring forces across all seas. We're delving into the realm of superheroes, not just ordinary fighters but entities that embody godlike power, heralds of immense energy, and warriors who bridge the beyond. These beings channel universal energy, and when defending, can escalate any normal confrontation into a catastrophic interstellar clash. The champions.
Cosmic, not only.
They hit hard, dominate the field with presence. Each one of them radiates power, fury, and chaos, capable of altering the rules of combat with energy effects. Copy power, immunities without improvements, unstoppable in defense. This classification for being as aggressive as it is unpredictable, punishing attackers who dare to underestimate them with devastating super attacks and skills that defy logic. Cosmic defense is pure, distinct, and raw power. There's no room here for careful calculation, control of combat. When you face a cosmic defender, you face chaos itself. The energy from the far reaches of the universe compressed into a single being, and only the most skilled summoners manage to get out alive. So get ready, because today we are going to discover the 5 most feared cosmic champions in defense, those who not only defeat their rivals but crush them with celestial power and imposing presence.
Presenting the ultimate top 5 defenders from the cosmic class in Marvel Superhero Battle. Rank 5 is held by Nova, a distinguished leather-clad centurion known as Ponova. Nova is a hero fueled by the boundless cosmic energy of Santa's universal force, boasting extraordinary speed, immense strength, and a connection to the energetic plane that surpasses human comprehension.
Direct with the
Red Nova herself, this champion is not only a symbol of intergalactic justice, but also one of the most annoying and dangerous defenders in the game, which turns it into a wall of defense.
blocks.
Automatics that destroy the combat rhythm, since you will not have the ability to activate the automatic lock when receiving certain attacks, which ignites an instant stop and leaves you stunned by opening the perfect window to punish you with a devastating combo. A calculation clorer, and it doesn't work, it destroys you mercilessly. In addition, he has constant furies, since during combat, he will not generate fury improvements passively.
What he comments is a joke if he amplifies
His power with every blow.
Even if you try to play defensive, this curious one makes his offensive pressure, leaving him every second, turning him into a threat that only gets worse.
Overtime.
Unlockable and difficult to control, one of his most feared mechanics is his ability to become unlockable, especially when he reaches a certain level of Nova energy. At that point, the fight becomes chaos because any attempt to block or control the pace becomes a death sentence. And besides, he has medium attacks.
No contact since
His attack is medium, he does not establish physical contact, not that cancels the possibility of making stops and leaves those who try to confront him with reflexes or parries without options. This forces the player to completely change his fighting style, which makes the fight unpredictable and tense. Therefore, since we defeat him, since it leads to champions canceling improvements, it is essential to stop his generation of furies and control his damage. Avoid attacking hastily and always keep close to don't go, otherwise, if he is far away, you allow him to charge his furies. And finally, don't rely on stops, since his nature of non-contact attacks makes it better to maintain the distance and punish him after just his mistakes. In short, he is not going to be the ideal defender to break the combat rhythm. Its automatic blocks, its growing furies, its unstoppable blockable phase, and its contact blows make it a true cosmic trap for impatient attackers in the enemy's hands. It can transform a seemingly simple fight into a pulsing defeat under the blinding light of the Nova Force. In position number 4, we find Maestro, a true legend within the Mario universe, battles superheroes, a character whose mere gift gives respect. A massive colossus of the fusion of Bruce Banner's brilliant mind and the brute strength of the Incredible Hulk, powered by cosmic energies and hardened by years of battle across the universe. Although over time he has lost some prominence in defense against new champions, Master remains one of the most feared forces in the cosmic class, especially in nodes that enhance his defensive abilities. When you go in to fight him, you're not just facing muscle, you're facing a tactical mind inside an unstoppable body. Why is Master still so dangerous? In defense, it has active deflection with 10 neutronium charges, since once it reaches them, it activates deflection, a brutal improvement that cancels the possibility of making critical hits and also reduces damage by 50%. This turns every encounter into a real nightmare, as champions who rely on critical damage lose almost all of their effectiveness.
In front of him,
Also, when the 20 neutronium charges arrive, it activates piercing, which means blocking their hits becomes a death trap. because every hit that hits your guard will drain your life quickly, forcing you to play with surgical precision or run the.
Risk of falling hopelessly.
And when it hits, 4 to 40 neutronium charges activates Upper Rage. This is where Master transforms into an unstoppable cosmic force when he completes the 40 charges between his superior rage state, drastically increasing his attack power and turning all his upgrades into passive, meaning he can no longer be eliminated in any way. At this point, the fight becomes hell. Master begins to strike some enormous power and without any type of restriction. Other than that, it's an attack 1. It's fast, unpredictable, and hard to evade, which punishes impatient players in nodes where they get blockable that this attack can be lethal, but a true terror already with Super Attack 2 where it has a Fury improvement that multiplies its damage massively, being able to erase a large part of your life with a single impact. Therefore, since we defeat him, it is best to bring champions who reduce achieve power to prevent the Master from accumulating charge Penetronium so quickly, apart from avoiding champions who depend on critical damage. Faced with their detours, they are completely useless and without the 20 getting too long. Keep your distance but always try to pull the opponent to take those Nutri-Oil loads away. In short, Maestro is a cosmic wall, a defender who punishes blockade, reduces damage, neutralizes critical hits, and scales his power to absurd levels. Although not as common in the Met today, it is still one of the most destructive forces in complicated nodes or war-maps, where your presence can turn a simple fight into a lesson in cosmic humility. In position number 3, we find one of the most legendary, mysterious, and exclusive characters in the entire superhero mark, the imposing Thanos Headless, the Mad Titan in his darkest and definitive form, a version forged in obsession, fueled by death, and tempered in the deepest corners of the universe. Titanol is not obtained conventionally. You won't find it opening crystals, sand, or common emissions. To achieve this, you must first gather all the Deadless champions,
Everyone obtained.
using runes.
Currently and
only then will he have a chance to unlock the Titan himself. And if you want him awakened, get ready to face a full Grey Necropro, one of the toughest trials in the game, where only the most disciplined and experienced summoners manage to get out alive. But let's talk about his real power, defense. Valor Deadlet, it's not just a wall, it's a living fortress, a defender made to break the morale of the attacker without awakening. He is a tough adversary but manageable if you know how to dodge his specials. However, once Singular Security awakens, the story changes completely. It becomes a real cosmic nightmare. Every time you manage to take 25% of his life, Thanos Deles automatically activates protection, drastically reducing the damage taken. That means your best punches, your most powerful critics, and your super devastating attacks feel like you're hitting with one pillow. This mechanic makes combat drag on forever, and every attempt to damage a star against his incremental defense is one of the reasons why even such DS veterans are synonymous with desperation. Apart from that, its basic life is enormous, giving it exceptional durability. It's even without additional nodes. Added to this is its energy resistance, which mitigates much of the damage inflicted by energy-based attacks. And if he makes it to the final stretch of combat, you'll find that Thanos becomes even more dangerous. His attacks accelerate, his defenses harden, and his residual damage begins to escalate. Apart from that, his attacks are one of the most treacherous in the game. A burst of energy spheres that if you don't dodge with millimeter precision will punish you with a corrosion disadvantage. And believe me, that corrosion is not a game. It consumes your life at a brutal pace, leaving you with no margin for error, turning every failure into a second defeat. So how do we eliminate it? Well, you have to bring champions who ignore or eliminate those protections apart from controlling their power bar. Never let your Patak 2 come, and if it does, stay at half distance to dodge those spheres. If you don't have direct control, patience is your best weapon. You don't win with haste, you win with strategy. In short, Thanos Deles is the ultimate symbol of cosmic dominion, a living chief who combines resistance, power, control, and punishment into a single entity. His ability to regenerate and protect, reduce your damage, and punish you for every mistake makes him one of the most frustrating and demoralizing defenders in the entire game. When the Itan of them jumps on the map, even the bravest summoners hesitate before entering.
the air. It burns summoning. We are already at the top of this top. Here in the top positions, there is only space for the entities that have changed the game. For those champions who with their single appearance force us to rethink every strategy that dominate the mind and the map. And in this number 2 position, we have a champion who has arrived this same 2025 to set fire to. Literally and metaphorically to the defensive scene, A stellar appearance exclusive to the Heart of Fire event, a force of nature that cannot be contained. In words, she is Darfelis.
From the first
Moment he stepped onto the battlefield, Darfelis has made it clear that he is not a simple character, he is an event, a living threat, a cosmic fire that does not go out, that feeds on every second that passes in combat. Its most lethal weapon is not only its damage, it is not its regeneration, it is not its unstoppable incidences, it is its brutal accumulation of power in defense. Darfelis grows over time. Every moment in which the summoner fails to knock her down strengthens her. Every load that accumulates every second. The point she gains brings her closer to the point of no return, that moment in which she becomes an unstoppable force. Her constant regeneration keeps her in the fight when she already.
should it be over?
Every blow received,
Does it give you power?
which in turn triggers its damage and offensive capacity. Her constant incineration aura makes even immune champions suffer to control her and her Yamanova. And when his power meter reaches maximum levels, it unleashes a torrent of destructive energy that leaves no survivors. The most feared thing is not the damage it inflicts at first, but what it becomes. If the fight drags on because Dark Phoenix fights are never fast, it drags you along.
His fire forces you to go.
Cautiously, and meanwhile she grows, her power increases her regeneration scale, and her presence on the map is
It becomes oppressive. Every mistake, every blink, every
poorly calculated combo gives her even more advantage until a point is reached where you can no longer stop her in nodes. Power copies increase in damage accordingly.
letters.
Resurrection, power control reduction, damage reflex, energy, accelerated regeneration. Darfening inevitably turns into every adversary's most formidable foe. Regardless of how extensively strategy is prepared, the sheer continuation of the conflict works steadfastly in your favor.
Since the Heart of Five event,
The major alliances have not stopped debating strategies to counteract it. Its impact has been immediate. In the highest level defensive lines, their presence is already a constant. There are those who say that it is too risky not to keep specific accounts against it. Others believe that it is the best use of regeneration nodes. But they all affect one thing. In the current meta, Dark Phoenix is the queen of attrition, the champion who forces summoners to spend more resources than against any other defender. For all this,
and although
it's been a while.
time in the
Games, his defensive dominance is indisputable, his accumulation of power, his growth.
unstoppable, his ability to do that.
Every second bridge represents an emerging major threat for 2025. As a result, Summoner has truly earned her number 2 ranking, and if one dares to challenge her, the outcome could be fateful.
Combat record these words.
Time is not on your side.
Every second that passes,
It's 1 second more than the.
fire grows, and
When the flames reach their peak, all that remains are ashes and ultimately Summoner. We conclude this epic journey, a voyage through the ranks of the most formidable champions of defense. Along the way, we have encountered everything from powerful sorceresses and skillful assassins to brilliant minds, cosmic conquerors, and more.
powerful, lethal.
Hard to beat.
But here in LA,
Top on top of all, there can only be one left. A champion has shown you time and time again that it doesn't matter how many changes the finish line brings, how many new characters come to the games, his dominance is absolute, a force that seems immortal not only in combat but in Marvel history itself.
battle superheroes.
Occupying the top position is the unparalleled Serpent. Summoner continues to dominate the chessboard of champions. Season after season, year after year, Snake perseveres as a steadfast ruler, immovable from the throne no challenger has yet claimed.
And what is it?
What makes him so unstoppable is not just his strength, it's not just his endurance, it's not just his increasing damage, it's his ability to immortality.
Cyclic, and it's
Brutal accumulation of power that allows him to turn any combat into an endless nightmare for the attacker. Su!
ability to resurrect both.
Time makes a chaos never the end. Every time it comes back, it makes it stronger, more stopped and more lethal. His constant power build-up turns every second of the fight into a countdown for the attacker, because if you give him time, he becomes a monster that nothing and no one can stop his increasing damage as he accumulates charges.
Makes what?
It starts as a controlled struggle, end up in a life or death match against Snake. Time is your enemy. Every second that passes, every cycle he completes, every drop of power he accumulates brings him closer and closer to the state of absolute invincibility. And it doesn't matter what champion you have, it doesn't matter if you have counter your strategies, you plan every blow. If you can't control the fight from the first moment, he will take control. And when that happens, when it begins to accumulate unbridled power, the
Combat leaves.
of being a fight and it becomes a sentence. In nodes such as Gathering, Accelerated Power, Damage Reflex Regeneration, Auto-Resurrection, Control Reduction, Decoration, Energy Damage Bonus, Snake transforms into a force in nature, an indestructible wall, a presence so overwhelming that it can bring down entire lines to exhaustion.
The resources.
From entire alliances, many summoners have tried to find new ways to defeat him. Despite relentless battles, the event's Snake dominates as both a defender and a legend. His influence extends beyond physical conflicts, infiltrating minds and spaces.
Of the players,
The biggest mistake you can make against him is thinking the fight will be over.
Quick, you can take him down.
With a good rotation and you can control it with counters. Snake manipulates time and cycles. A few seconds, a surge in strength, then it's too late, and the challenge escalates, impacting everything profoundly.
of power will remain.
Unusable, and your plans will collapse because of all this, because of its constant dominance, because of its ability to absorb everything you throw and return it multiplied. Snake earns the #1 position on its own merits. And as long as a threat does not emerge in the game capable of matching his combination of immortality, accumulation of power, and total control of the combat rhythm, he will continue to reign. So Summoner, the next time you encounter him, don't underestimate his power, because on this battlefield, he is the king of immortality, the master of
Acopio, the terror.
immortal. In defense of his status, there's space for only one ruler atop the throne, Snake himself.
So Summoner, we have arrived at the conclusion of this celestial voyage, a remarkable adventure that brought us face to face with the most formidable, deadly, and commanding defenders of the cosmos.
Of the entire cosmic class.
We have seen entities that burn for the power of Mirisoles to titans that can shatter planets in one blow to forces that seem beyond human comprehension, and yet once again the tone is taken by Serpent, the integral mortal king of the meta, the abode that seems to have no end. This top has been a personal vision, my way of paying tribute to these champions who make them sweat, frustrate, and wait for every player who comes across them. But remember, Summoner, everyone has its style, its face, and its strategy. If you think there are other defenders worthy of appearing in this top, leave it in the comments. Let's debate, share, and continue making this community.
Something big.
Always with respect, without insults, and with passion for the game. And if you give him help for any mission in the games towards the car 9.3, the visual car 8, the new raids, or any other challenge, do you have my WhatsApp in the description? There I can help you plan your fights, use your equipment, and save resources as you work your way to the top. Why evil superheroes? There is no impossible immune, there is nothing invincible, and there is no defense that cannot be broken if you know how to do it. So Summoner, if you liked this video, leave your like, subscribe, and activate the bell so you don't miss the next top epic guides coming to the channel. And remember, there is always no victory without strategy, no tough without risk, and no defense. He loves you except that of the true gods of the goal. Bye-bye.
And before it's over,
The video. Thanks deeply to all our amazing channel members for their incredible support this October 2025. Special appreciation goes to the 1,000 Soris of JP Elias Ramirez, Oscar Salmeron, and Aucar Roldan for their heartfelt contributions. If you'd like to support the channel, details can be found in the description of any video. Take care and see you soon!